Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer. Chapter 15. Yeah, I said. Edward sat on the arm of the sofa by Bella's feet, his eyes always on her face. It was too much to hope, with all the superhearing in the room, that no one would notice my stomach grumbling. Rosie, why don't you get Jacob something from the kitchen? Alice said. She was invisible now, sitting quietly behind the back of the sofa. Rosie stared at the place Alice's voice had come from in disbelief. Thanks anyway, Alice, but I don't think I want to eat something Blondie spit in. But my system wouldn't take too kindly to venom. Rosie was never embarrassing Esme was displaying such a lack of hospitality. Of course not, Blondie said in a sugar-sweet voice that I immediately distrusted. She got up and breezed out of the room. Edward sighed. You tell me she poisoned it, right? I asked. Yes, Edward promised. For some reason, I believed him. There was a lot of banging in the kitchen, and weirdly the sound of metal protesting as it was abused. Edward sighed again, but smiled just a little too. Then Rosalie was cut before I could think much more about it. With a big please smash just still well on the floor next to me. Enjoy, mongrel. It probably once been a big mixing bowl, which she'd beat the bent roll back on itself till it shaped almost exactly like a dog dished. I had to be impressed with her quick craftsmanship and attention to detail. She scratched the word Fido into the side. Excellent handwriting. Because the food looked pretty good, steak no less, and a big baked potato with all the fixings, I told her, thanks, Blondie. She snorted. Hey, do you know what to call a blonde with a brain? I asked, and then continued on the same breath, a golden retriever. I've heard that one too, she said, no longer smiling. I'll keep trying, I promised, and I dug in. She made a disgusting face and rolled her eyes. She then sat in one of the armchairs and started flicking through the channels on the big TV so fast there was no way she could really be surfing for something to watch. The food was good, even with a vampire stink in the air. I was getting really used to that. Not something I'd ever been wanting to do exactly. When I was finished, though I was considering licking the bowl just to give Rosie something to complain about, I felt Bella's cold fingers pulling softly through my hair. She patted down against the back of my neck. Time for a haircut, huh? You're getting a little shaggy, she said. Maybe. Let me guess, something around her hair used to cut hair in salon in Paris. She chuckled. Probably. No thanks, I said before she could really offer. I'm good for a few more weeks. She made me wonder how long she was good for. I tried to think of a polite way to ask. So, what's the date? You know, the due date for the little monster. She snapped the back of my head with about as much force as a drifting feather, but she didn't answer. I'm serious, I told her. I want to know how long I'm going to have to be here. How long are you going to be here? I added in my head. I turned to look at her then. Her eyes were thoughtful, the stress down between her brows again. I don't know, she murmured. Not exactly. Obviously we're not going to go with the 9-month model here, and we can't get ultrasounds, so Carla's guesstimating from how big I am. Normal people are supposed to get about 40 centimetres here. She ran her finger down the middle of her bulging stomach when the baby is fully grown. 1 centimetre every week. I was 30 this morning, and I've been getting out 2 centimetres a day, sometimes more. 2 weeks to a day, the days flying by, her life is speeding by and fast forward. How many days did that give her? She was counting to 40. 4? It took me a minute to figure out how to swallow. You okay? She asked. I nodded, not really sure how my voice would come out. Edward's face turned red as he listened to my thoughts, but I could see his reflection in the glass wall. It was the burning man again. Funny how having a deadline made it harder to think about leaving or having her leave. I was glad Seth brought that up, so I knew they were staying here. It would be intolerable, wondering if they were about to go to take 1 or 2 or 3 of those 4 days, my 4 days. Also funny how, not knowing that it was almost over, the hold she had on me only got harder to break. Almost like I was related to her expanding belly. As if getting bigger, she was gaining gravitational force. For a minute I tried to look up from a distance, to separate myself from the pull. I knew it wasn't my imagination, but my need for her was stronger than ever. Why was that? Because she was dying? Or knowing that even if she didn't, still, best case scenario, she'd be changing into somebody else that wouldn't know or understand. She ran her finger across my cheekbone, and my skin was wet where she touched it. It's going to be okay, she sort of crooned. It didn't matter that the words meant nothing. She looked as though I let people send those senseless nursery rhymes to kids, rock-a-bye baby. Right, I muttered. She curled against my arm, resting her head on my shoulder. I didn't think you would come. Seth said you would, and so did Edward, but I didn't believe them. Why not? I asked gruffly. You're not happy here, but you came anyway. You wanted me here. I know. You didn't have to come, because it's not fair for me to want you here. I would have understood. It was quiet for a minute. Edward put his face back together. He looked at the TV Rosie wouldn't have flipping through the channels. She was into the 600s. I wondered how long it would take to get back to the beginning. Thank you for coming, Bella. Can I ask you? Bella whispered. Can I ask you something? I asked. Of course. Edward didn't look like he was paying attention to us at all, but he knew what I was about to ask. She didn't fool me. Why do you want me here? Seth could keep you warm. He's probably easy to be around, happy little punk. But when I walk in the door, you smell like I'm your favourite person in the world. You're one of them. That sucks, you know. Yeah, she sighed. Sorry. Why, though? You didn't answer that. Ed was looking away again, like he was staring out the window. His face was blank in the reflection. It feels complete when you're here, Jacob. Like all my family is together. I mean, I guess it's like what it's like. I've never had a family before now. It's nice. She smiled for half a second. But it's not a whole unless you're here. I want to be part of your family, Bella. I could have been. I could have been good there. But that was just a distant future that died long before I had a chance to live. You've always been a part of my family, she disagreed. My teeth made a grinding sound. That's a crap answer. What's a good one? How about Jacob? I get a kick out of your pain. I felt her flinch. You'd like that better, she whispered. It's easier at least. I could wrap my head around it. I could deal with it. I looked down at the back of her face then, so close to mine. Her eyes were shut and she was frowning. We got off track, Jake. Out of balance. You're supposed to be part of my life. I can feel that, and so can you. She paused for a second without opening her eyes, like she was waiting for me to deny it. When I didn't say anything, she went on. But not like this. You did something wrong. No, I did. I did something wrong and we got off track. Her voice trailed off and the frown on her face relaxed until it was a little pucker on the corner of her lips. I wished for her to pour some more lemon juice into my paper cuts, then a soft snore came to the back of her throat. She's exhausted, Edward murmured. It's been a long day, a hard day. I think she would have gone to sleep earlier, but she was waiting for you. I didn't look at him. So silent that broken than one of her ribs. Yeah, it's like making it hard for her to breathe. Let me know when she gets hot again. Yeah. She still had goosebumps from the arm that wasn't touching mine. I'd barely raised my head to look for her blanket when Edward snagged and draped over the arm of the sofa and flung it out so it settled over her. Occasionally, the mind-reading thing saved time. For example, maybe, I wouldn't have to make a big production about the accusation that was going on with Charlie. That mess. Edward was here just exactly how furious. Yes, he agreed. It's not a good idea. Then why? Why was Bella telling our father she was on the mend when it wouldn't make him more miserable? She can't bear his anxiety. So it's better. No, it's not better. I'm not going to force her to do anything that makes her unhappy now. Whatever happens, this makes her feel better. I'll deal with the rest afterwards. That didn't sound right. Bella would just shuffle Charlie's pain off to some later date, for someone else to face. Even dying. That wasn't her. If I knew Bella, she'd have to some other plan. She's very sure she's going to live, Edward said. Not human, I protested. No, not human. But she hopes to see Charlie again anyway. Oh, so this just got better and better. See Charlie. I finally looked at him, my eyes bugging. Afterwards, see Charlie when she's all sparkly white with bright red eyes. I'm not a bloodsucker, so maybe I'm missing something. But Charlie seems like a strange kind of meat for her choice for her first meal. Edward sighed. She doesn't want to near him for at least a year. She thinks she can stall. Tell Charlie she has to go to special hospital on the other side of the world. Keep into contact through phone calls. That's insane. Yes. Charlie's not stupid. Even if she doesn't kill him, she's going to notice the difference. She's sort of banking on that. I continued to stare, waiting for him to explain. She wouldn't be aging, of course, so that would set a time limit, even if Charlie accepted whatever excuse she comes up with for the changes. He smiled faintly. Do you remember when you tried to tell her about your transformation? How you made her guess? My free hand flexed into a fist. She told you about that? Yes. She's explaining her idea. You see, she's not allowed to tell Charlie the truth. It would be very dangerous for him. But she's a smart, practical man. She thinks to come up with his own explanation. She assumes he'll get it wrong. Edward snorted. After we hardly adhere to the vampire canon, he'll make some wrong assumption about us like she did in the beginning, and we'll go along with it. She thinks she wants to see him from time to time. Insane, I repeated. Yes, he agreed again. It was weak of him to let her get away on this, just to keep her happy now. It wouldn't turn out well.